Camera issues. All right. So let's just get into this. Obviously, I'm a nerd, and the other day was Star Wars Day, so I started on a lightsaber design. Um, Sort of took a life of its own, really. So now I'm adding a different pommel. I've been thinking about this whole animal sculpting a lot, and ever since the monkey, I've just been thinking of different animal heads that could work, and their application. Because one thing I kind of don't want to do is just do like a 50 series or something of animal heads for no good reason. I am becoming more and more of a fan of just applied designs as opposed to designs that are sort of just there uh, for the sake of it, unless it's illustration, because illustration is just self justifying, let's be honest. Um, so you see me kind of go through some of the new modeling methods that I've been using um, in skulls. A lot of sort of just like blending parts into each other, being very mindful of the flow and thicknesses of objects, a lot of just like frequency. I kind of like to refer to this as just like 3D graphic design, because ultimately that's kind of what um, that's probably the best way I found to think of using CAD specifically for hard surface design. Um, I think the comparison of CAD is to 3D sculpting, as Illustrator is to Photoshop, is very accurate. I think all in all, um, you want to kind of think very graphic, very simplified, very sort of, the more you are familiar with the math, the more you are familiar with the logic. And it's less about sort of like feeling your way through, even though you can do that. I think you need to be running this sense of math and construction in the background in order to really kind of pull off feeling your way through a a CAD design process. Ultimately, CAD in of itself is not exactly made to be used for concept. Moe does an amazing job at doing exactly that, making CAD for concept, which is absolutely wonderful. Though ultimately, so generally the rule is that your concept is messy and your final product is clean. And so you need to remember that this will also apply uh, in CAD. Even though in general you do want to be as clean as possible when modeling in CAD, and not having cleanly geometry like that, just right there, comes back and bites you. So you want to be careful to like, I have to rebuild that thing a lot because it is just kind of a gross piece of geo. Actually, it's several pieces of geo, which is part of why it's such a problem. So I eventually turned in just one clean piece of geo, but it took some effort in kind of getting rid of my own stubbornness. So now there you go. I have a clean piece of geo and I can extrude that safely and it all went fine. But it's just like things like that. Like a lot of times, you're in concept and you're kind of just in like this very free flow state, which is great. It's super creative, and then like you'll just do something that, like, on a technical level, like, you kind of already know, like, yeah, that's not the best way. That's not the best. It looks great, but it's not really gonna do the thing, and you keep trying to bypass it, and then eventually just like one of the things I like a lot about product design versus a lot, but even in digital this actually still applies, but in physical product design, it really makes itself known, is that at a certain point, the critic of your design is nothing other than physics itself. And sometimes physics will just look at your design, your project, and just go, no, this is not happening. And that's it. And you have to figure something else out. And sometimes that does also happen with modeling and concepting. Sometimes like you just have a form, or you're trying to go for a form or a surface, and just math itself just looks at you and is like, whatever you think is supposed to happen here is not going to happen. And you just gotta start over or do it better. One of the most fun criticisms that buddies and I used to give each other was, I would actually do that again, but better, just like strictly better. And you might think that's like kind of like bad advice, and it is kind of jokey advice, but also just like sometimes that is the thing to do. It's like, it's not even that what you did is bad, is that there's just a better way of doing it, and you can do strictly better, and just go and do strictly better, and that's kind of the end of that story. you know it just sounds kind of like, not nice to say it that way, but I don't know. It's true. It's true. Like, it's kind of how I felt about the lightsaber. It's like I was looking at it and I was just like, this is, not interesting enough. I was like, I can do strictly better. And granted, it was just like an hour like meditation for fun. That goddamn button. Okay, the button, the top button. Originally, that blue part was meant to be the entirety of the button, and during the rendering process is when I realized that that area was just like a giant mat of just useless, overly large geometry, and I end up actually just making just like a button, like a button like the classic lightsaber way. So the idea of a lightsaber actually using a button is something that's worried me for a long time, because I always kind of wondered like what happens. Because if you look at some lightsabers, like Luke's lightsaber, for example, it would be like there's like the shaft, right? The flashlights. Do I have something I could use? I guess like so they had like the flashlight shaft, right? And then like the button will be like kind of like this, but like it sticks out all the way to here, and I'm just like, oh my god, like just anything could, whoop, accidentally, and that always kind of freaked me out. So I wanted to kind of try to like set my buttons, or maybe like make them more flush with the surface, just like a bit harder to accidentally press, which is why I don't have them like sticking out of the surface. I mean, I imagine like they're Jedi and they have like these senses and whatever, and it's also a story about space wizards. So you don't want to get too specific or like too realistic with it. But yeah, I'm kind of having some fun with this lightsaber. Just like kind of. So I was thinking that this could be a lightsaber for just like an army, because so if you kind of look at them, you can interchange the connections. So what I was thinking is maybe the hilt with the eagle head is the hilt that you would get if you're like an officer or something, like you got a promotion, and then the hilt that you get, and then like just the other regular hilt, you would just get like two or one of those if you're just like a regular soldier. But the second one is like you get that as like your promotion. And I don't know, I kind of wonder if like maybe I should like super decorate it, like the top end is like kind of plain but still very good, and then like the back end, the hilt is like ultra decorated, like not just the eagle. But I don't know, I'll see how this goes. I'll see how I feel about just keeping on and playing with the saber. It was never meant to get as far as it did. It was meant to be just like a one-off sketch. I think I did it on Twitch and just like liked it and posted it. And I did some edits to it today. So we'll see how this goes.